The George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years.
Now, Matt, call me crazy, but there was probably a time in our history that people thought they were actually going through and their district attorney would actually be running their own office. But right now, America's criminal justice system is actually being run by a lot of outside activists and donors.
Yeah, I think you can repeat this over and over again, but it's hard for people, regular people who just are living a decent life, to actually intake and internalize, because even when you say the word George Soros, everyone knows he's bad, right? But how this actually works is exactly what you said. It's not democracy. You have billionaires, more than just George Soros, funding organizations that actively influence how we prosecute and how we sentence criminals. And in fact, it's worse than that because they foment criminality through these groups. And that's the network that needs to be dismantled.
Well, let's go take a look at Donald Trump last week. He was talking about Charlie Kirk after the assassination and what he was talking about with George Soros, and he wants him prosecuted for some RICO charges.
But you know, they have professional agitators. They're professional. I had one the other night. I went into a restaurant and this woman stood up. I looked at her immediately. She had money. She wasn't serious. They get paid for it. They're professional, from Soros and other people. And we're going to look into Soros because I think it's a RICO case against him and other people. Because this is more than like protests. This is real agitation. This is riots on the street. And we're going to look into that.
Chris, break down the professional agitator wing that we are now seeing just across the country. I mean, it came in a big way for the Summer of Love back in 2020, but professional agitators are a huge problem right now.
Yeah, and I know I'll try to go quicker than my normal long answers for the YouTubes, but this is something that has been known for a long time, just like you mentioned, Peterson mentioned, the president mentioned, if you're paying attention. The difference here is there's a perfect storm of events where you've got a Republican administration that cares, is aggressive, is wounded, is angry, and wants to do something about it, which most Republicans in the past have not. They're risk averse, they're conflict averse, they let Democrats walk all over them. You've got a base that is absolutely demanding action. You've got a House of Representatives with a thin majority that wants action, and a Senate that can be bullied into it. They're going to go at this. They got a DOJ, I pray, that is up to this task. George Soros went around the country just seeding cities everywhere he could win elections with different candidates who spread chaos intentionally. The collapse of our cities over the last 10 years has been by design. It's not some kind of economic thing. It's not some kind of plague. It's by design. Letting criminals out of prison, dropping charges, skewing statistics while crime went rampant, penalizing businesses and other people who actually try to defend themselves. This is intentional. And another thing is, because of years of Republican weakness on these sort of subjects, the left-wing nonprofits are extremely sloppy in a way that Republican and conservative nonprofits simply are not. They take that 501c3 status, they coordinate with campaigns, they coordinate with each other, they have illegal PACs, and they know that no one's ever actually going to go after them because of civility and decency, and let's all have unity and come together, guys, except, of course, for Republicans and conservative groups. They never do that for them. So I actually think that once you start digging in here and you want to see what kind of spiders live inside, you're going to find a lot, and you're going to find it more easily than you might expect.
Yeah, and we started looking into some of these groups, and one of them is called the Wren Collective, and they're funded by all the left-wing donors, but they go through and they basically just make themselves comfy in all the prosecutors' offices, and they are ghostwriting policies, right? Trump is trying to get rid of all the cashless bail. They'll write op-eds and honestly just try to pressure judges into doing what they want. But Matt, I think one of the worst parts is that they're operating so quietly behind the scenes without contracts so that people can't actually see who's pulling the strings in a lot of these situations.
Yeah, so on one side of the billionaire complex, and this is more than Soros. This is more than Soros, right? There are many billionaires supporting this kind of thing. On the one side, they'll run these candidates. And you know about that already, right? They run these lefty candidates, the DAs, whatever. But what's more opaque, what's harder to see is like on the other side, they have these nonprofits that come right alongside that DA. And they write the op-eds for them in the press. They give them, documents of this is the kind of thing you want to do. This is the policy you want to implement. And they go arm in arm. And that has led to the destruction of a lot of America. And I don't think America is going to stand for it anymore, but we have to expose how this operates and then go after it with the force of even existing law. As Chris just said, if you just look at how these places operate, no one has scrutinized them. No one has investigated them before. So they're fat and happy. And that time where they get away with it has to be over. It has to be done with now. And you see the administration saying this in very strong words from Trump and Stephen Miller.
Yeah, so we see that Jessica Wren is the person who founded this back in 2020, this particular group. She was a former public defender. And you look and we know the Alvin Braggs of the world, right? But if you look at there's Rachel Rollins and Joe Gonzalez, and these are just different examples where you see Joe Gonzalez, he's the DA down in San Diego. And there was a police shooting. And there was a quote that says that we got an indictment on the officer in the Eric Cantu case. Thanks for your help from you and your team. And this person responded, we saw. How'd the press conference go? Oh, it went well. Joe got asked all the talking points and he pretty much stuck to them, right? This is what we're talking about. They're going through and making sure that all of the prosecutors and all the DAs are following all of the left-wing talking points, Chris. And this is just something that goes on all the time that okay, if they're going to be playing these games, what do we need to do to push back?
Well, there was originally the idea of building your own networks, own conservative networks or libertarian networks, and that just didn't work. The money was spent so foolishly and so stupidly, and it was taken to lost to ideological capture from the left, just like with the Koch Institute. Is now just a big funnel for money, conservative money towards left-wing causes. You see that sort of stuff all over the place. But you have to investigate these organizations. You need public disclosure. I mean, some of this stuff is fully and completely and totally legal, like what me and Daniel Turner were talking about a few episodes ago about how they'll bring in judges and say you can satisfy part of your legal requirements to maintain your law degree by coming and learning about global warming from us. They're very, very good at this sort of thing, and they've done it successfully. And one of the main things they do, as Matt pointed out, is just try to hide from scrutiny. They don't actually want people paying attention to how much they're operating some of the aspects of our government and our judiciary, and they've done it very successfully all over the country. But a lot of them whenever I talk to donors and to people who run nonprofits on the American right, especially the effective ones and the efficient ones, they talk about the incredible amount of magnifying glasses on them at all times, the millions of dollars they have to spend in legal fees to defend themselves against constant and ridiculous inquisitions. By the way, all of which rely on press reports. So it's part of that media circle where Congress says they were looking at someone, their friends in the news media just print a bunch of ridiculous assertions, assumptions like, oh, maybe they coordinated J6. Maybe these people are part of dark money or this or that. It's never true, but it's enough for the Senate to dig in. It's enough for the House of Representatives to dig in. It's enough for former DOJs and FBIs under Democrats to dig into their finances, try to go after people, try to disbar them. It's an extremely efficient system, and it's time for Republicans to learn how to use those tools to at least equal this playing field.
Let's take a look at the Facebook Wives Club. Of course, we know the leftists have their billionaires that are out there. It's not just George Soros, but there's the Social Environmental Entrepreneurs. It's called SEE. It's a California nonprofit group. But these Facebook wives, right? Priscilla Chan, obviously Mark Zuckerberg's wife, and Kari Tuna, the wife of Facebook co-founder Dustin Moskovitz. And then you also have John Arnold formerly of Enron. So these are the people that are going out there and saying, no, your way of life, we don't care. So why does this matter that they have all these billionaires? Well, when you come and you look at what's actually going on in the headlines, and we see the Ukrainian woman that was murdered, the person who brutally murdered her was let out 14 different times. It's your DAs that are allowing that to happen over and over and over again. And, you know, if there is any silver lining right now, today we got the Utah DA in the Charlie Kirk case that has announced today that aggravated murder plus 6 additional felony counts will come down on the person who is believed to have shot Charlie Kirk. And there are actually messages, text messages that he admitted to his boyfriend that they announced in a press conference earlier today. He said, I had my chance to take Charlie out. I'm going to do it. I have to grab my rifle. He said, you know, I'm worried about my old man, what he would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. Oh, by the way, delete these text messages. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. Again, you're all I worry about, love. And then we have to see an ABC reporter come out there earlier today. And he was like, oh man, this is so like, it was like touching and heartwarming, like this emotional texts between this assassin and his boyfriend. It was actually heartfelt and touching. No. Don't lose what happened here. I don't care that this man cared about his boyfriend. I care that he murdered Charlie Kirk.
You can't hate the media enough. That line is very true. These people are unserious, and you can't hate them enough. But also, I would say we need to ignore them and move past them. And what you see here in Utah is because of the public scrutiny, right, on this case, and also perhaps because it's Utah, you don't see the kind of thing that you see in case after case across the country, which all these nonprofits have fomented, which is just, you know, reducing charges, reducing sentences, and letting people off. You know, it's astounding to most Americans if you survey them for, you know, capital crimes, for big crimes, and you look at how much people actually serve these days and what they're charged with. It's light. And so this is a case where there is public scrutiny. It is in Utah. They are coming after this guy. They do seem to have the goods in this case. So that's heartening in terms of justice for Charlie. But as Charlie himself pointed out time and time again, we need to politicize the system and these deaths because overall we are not doing a good job and we're not holding these people to account.